Hi, welcome to Beyond the Dieline podcast. I'm your host, Tom Seymour. Thank you for joining us today. You're in for a great episode today. We have Jake Karls from Midday Squares joining us, a brand that is on the rise, one of the most fun and transparent and authentic brands, delivering a better for you snacking experience in their midday squares to help give you a boost when you're feeling that midday crash. Jake is an entertainer, an athlete, and an exceptional entrepreneur. I'm so excited to share with you what he has to say on this episode. Enjoy.
I think today's world, if you can't storytell or you can't put yourself out there, and you don't have to put your face out there, it just has to be somewhat human, I think you're going to fall behind, especially in a world of AI where there's so much access to information and tools. It's a lot of the sameness, and it's a lot of, everyone's on the same page with what they could do. So if you know how to tell a story, you're going to stand out from the crowd. You are going to be different because you are connecting deeper than just your product itself, which is, like you said, is already main game. It's table stakes. If you don't have a good product, you don't even stand a chance at all. But if you have a great product or a service, then you today need to tell a story. You need to get yourself out there, because otherwise you probably won't stand a chance at succeeding in this world.
Hey, Jake, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Very excited to have you on the Beyond the Dieline podcast.
What's cooking, Tom? Sorry for being late. Today's been a hectic day. It's been wild. It's one of those days where everything gets delayed 17 to 20 minutes, and due to one thing that compounded way before. So I'm just fired up to be here, and let's fire the engines.
Yeah, maybe I can give you a little bit of time back to get back on track. But are you telling me that the life of a founder and brand owner is hectic?
You know what? I think people sometimes don't see the behind the scenes of entrepreneurship, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of the time they'll see the headline, or they'll see the product or the service, wherever it is, or the use case of the product or service, but they don't see all the chaos that goes on behind the scenes. And a big mission of mine is to show a lot more of that, so that people can understand that for us, like a little chocolate product or a PBJ product, there's actually thousands of things that go on just to make sure that it gets to that destination, to get to your home, or gets to the retailer. And but I love it. I'm addicted to the ups and downs, to be honest with you. And I don't think I'd have it any other way. I really don't.
Well, this is why I had to have you on the podcast, because the entire concept of this podcast is talking with founders and really offering a transparent, authentic look at what founder life is like. Because so many times, like, you've seen this probably posted on social media, where they show like a picture of an iceberg, and like on the top of the iceberg is success, and underneath the water is like all the trials and tribulations that we face. And like our friends, our family, our consumers, our customers, our partners, they all see what's above the surface. And the goal of the podcast, and what I love about what you guys have built, is you've built a transparent, authentic platform with a great, better for you product to go along with it. And I was very, very excited that you were willing to come on, because our mission is one and the same.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think the best thing I could do to this world is kind of show people that you could win by being you in whatever business you do or whatever career path you take. And I think that's what I'm trying to demonstrate, is build, hopefully, Midday Squares, our snack bar business, to something very significant at scale by doing it our way. And my partners and I are, my sister, my brother-in-law, and I. So we're three people that weren't in the food space prior. We just had a belief that it was possible to build a significant snacking business, and that scaled. And everyone told us it was impossible at the beginning. I'll never forget. Everyone said, there's so many bars out there. There's so many chocolates. There's so many this, so much that, and it's so hard to do. Why would you do it? And for us, we saw this little light, this little possibility, that it was possible. And we basically just put our heads down and focused and blocked out all that noise, and just went out and built this, brick by brick, day by day, one little percent better every day. And that's now compounded into something, somewhat significant, at least we find significant. And we did it our way. And I think that's hopefully the goal, is to inspire a whole group of people to say they can do whatever they want to as well. Here's an example of that.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I've been following along on the sidelines since 2018. And I got to tell you, like, like, you guys are a very unique group. Like, you guys are like, bring that like celebrity kind of feel to any trade show that you're part of, any event that you're part of. Like the brand just has such an amazing energy. And like that is something that you can't like it's such a unique thing that you've created, right? Like, yeah, the product's great, like, and everybody, right? Like to get to to the main stage, you got to have a great product, but it's all the other stuff that that we create. And like what I know you guys most for is like that energy, that like celebrity status. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure many people have been on your Facebook page or Instagram and seen the Chocolate Gone Crazy video from 2022, and like some of the other stuff that you guys have created and posted. It's like it's amazing that you have this brand, but it behaves like a media company
Yeah.
with a fan base.
Well, I think Tom, like, look, we're in the consumer world, right? Like products where, people are physically grabbing them and they're consuming them, and sometimes that becomes part of people's lives, and sometimes they'll identify with a brand, they'll like a brand. And I think if you're not emotionally connecting today, it doesn't matter how good your product is, it doesn't matter how many people, sorry, it doesn't matter how good it is, or it doesn't matter how many features or benefits you have. If people don't know you and don't care about you or don't have any awareness of what you're even doing, doesn't matter how good it is. So for me, when my partners came to me with this business, they're like, they were making this product in their condo kitchen. It was getting ready to launch. They're like, we need you to be our third founder and blow this business up, make it as loud as possible, make people care about it, make us relevant. And I was just a guy that was a good storyteller. I wasn't anyone else. I had no expertise or anything, but I knew how to tell a story. So I said to my partners, if we want to win and we want to get people to try this delicious square, I said we need to get people to care. We need to get them to emotionally connect. And the way to do it was, let's document, let's share it all on social media, the actual chaos, the good, the bad, the ugly, the emotions, the momentum, the wins, the losses, the hardships, the obstacles. That way, when someone sees it on their phone or they see it on the internet, they're like, wait, this is interesting. I want to pay attention to it because it relates to something I'm going through in my life. For example, my partners and I would show our therapy sessions that we go to work on our communication. We would share some of those experiences, and that to somebody is relatable because some people go to coaching or they go to therapy and that relates. So it's no longer about a chocolate bar or a peanut butter jelly bar. It's actually about, hey, I want to know more about these people or this company because it relates to my life. And that way, when we put our stuff on a store, we put our stuff in a retailer where there's 30 plus thousand other items, our product stood out because people cared. They knew us. They wanted to support us. They felt like they were part of this journey because a little piece of our story was relatable to their story. And I think today's world, if you can't storytell or you can't put yourself out there, and you don't have to put your face out there, it just has to be somewhat human, I think you're going to fall behind, especially in a world of AI where there's so much access to information and tools. It's a lot of the sameness, and it's a lot of, everyone's on the same page with what they could do. So if you know how to tell a story, you're going to stand out from the crowd. You are going to be different because you are connecting deeper than just your product itself, which is, like you said, is already main game. It's table stakes. If you don't have a good product, you don't even stand a chance at all. But if you have a great product or a service, then you today need to tell a story. You need to get yourself out there because otherwise you probably won't stand a chance at succeeding in this world.
Yeah, I've mentored a ton of brands in the 15 years that I've been in the food manufacturing and food packaging space. And a lot of the stuff that you're saying is stuff that I'm telling people every day, in addition to make sure that you're keeping yourself as a strategic leader and you're working on your business, not in your business. And so, trying to give people great coaching tips. You guys are masters of storytelling. Like that's what I love about the brand. Obviously, that's why I think. Well, we know that's why you've been as successful as you've been, because you guys are great storytellers. You and I have so much in common. It's kind of crazy. So we both love the gym. We both love better for you snacks. We both own brands. And I don't know if you know that about me. But I also own a better for you snack brand, which is awesome. So there's just so many things in common. And so again, when you agreed to come on today, I was so excited. I want you to take us back to the family affair. I
Sure.
love, by the way, in common, I brought my brother in as a fractional equity partner in the brand. He's our creative guy, 20 plus years. And it's so amazing to work with family. I've been fortunate. I worked with my wife for, geez, about 10 years before I got into this industry. And I got to mentor with my dad for 5 years before he retired. and now I get to bring my brother into this new venture that I've started. So bring us back to that 2017. Your sister and your brother-in-law are tinkering around in the condo kitchen, and you guys decide, hey, we're going to make a go of this. We're going to launch a product, and give this a shot. Give us a little bit of background there. What were you doing at the time?
At the time I was actually a bit lost. I just closed my second business. It didn't work. It failed. And at the same time I was heartbroken by my ex-girlfriend. So I was going through a bit of a phase in my life where I was feeling lonely and a bit sad and lost in terms of purpose. And my sister and brother-in-law were working on this snack, this midday square version of the midday square at their home for like a year and a half plus, like almost 2 years. And they were now finally ready to launch it. And the last missing piece was they wanted to get somebody that would be able to, again, make the brand known, or create awareness and hype and energy and momentum. And that just wasn't their superpower. Their superpower was operations. So they came to me and they're like, yo, you're one of the best storytellers we know. You're one of the best brand builders and community builders. We're great operators. And they told me you're a horrible operator, because I am a horrible operator. I know that about myself. I'm a bad CEO. I am not good at operating. I'm not good at managing, but I'm very good. I know very well what I'm good at, and that's storytelling. That's making people feel part of what we're doing, bringing the community into, sorry, enlarging our community and maintaining it and growing it. So I joined in as the third founder, and we launched this company. August 4th of 2018 was the date. And the idea was we wanted to build the next biggest afternoon snacking business in better for you. That was the goal. And our first product line was functional chocolate bars. So basically some chocolate bars that had dark chocolate, that were proteins, had protein and fiber and good ingredients. And we would make them in our condo kitchen. And I say this, Tom, the condo kitchen was here in Montreal, where we're from. Small condo kitchen. We turned the tables into like a full conveyor belt, more or less, of making, assembly line, let's call it. We were hand making bars, the three of us, from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. every single day, mixing, pushing. Body was hurting from it because it was so hard. 50 bars was the most from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. And then from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., we'd actually package those bars. And then we'd go out from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. and hand deliver them to get to the three of us, because we couldn't afford shipping. And we go meet our customers. And at the time, they were buying them on a sample program for 25 cents a bar. So if you look at it, 50 bars a day at 25 cents is not that many dollars coming through. But because we were so delusional, and I say delusional with, like, in quotations, like, with respect, we believed so much in what we were doing. We were having so much fun. We blocked out all the noise, the negative energy that people were saying, like, this isn't going to scale. And we focused, and we gave everything to this product and to the customers. And next thing you know, it started to compound. Slowly start to compound a little bit more. More people heard about it. People were like shocked that we were hand delivering products with a handwritten note and coming into people's homes for tea at night. It was crazy. And as we were doing it, my idea in terms of the pitch of why I was coming on was, we were going to share it on social media, the behind the scenes of building the business, because that way people will feel closer to us as a company rather than just a product. And it worked, man. People, 10 people would view it, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000, then 25,000. Next thing you know, we're going mini viral and people are buying the products, and then we're hiring people to make these bars in the condo. And next thing you know, we almost got kicked out from the condo building because we were making chocolate bars, and they're like, this is not a chocolate factory. And then we went to 26 co-mans or 24 co-manufacturers to see if they could scale the midday squares the way we want to scale it. And I'll never forget, majority of the ones, or every single one we went to, told us, this product's very hard to make the way you want it. We have to change it XYZ. We have to do this, blah, blah, blah. And my sister just said, we're going to stay true to our product. If we could land people on the moon, then if we could land on the moon, we could create a midday square. So we ended up figuring out how to build the midday square line, on how to scale this line. And today I'm proud to say that, we built our facility. Again, every expert told us not to do it. We built it. It now produces about 150,000 of the midday squares per day. Very similar, not the same exactly, but very similar to the ones we had at the beginning. And we're proud of that, because that was the pain of the business, was really getting that off the ground. Now we're focused on the next couple of years on growth, on actual distribution growth, innovation growth, and just infrastructure on that end. But it's been a hell of a ride, man. Good, bad, ugly, painful. 36 times we want to throw the towel in and give the keys to somebody else. But we stay true, because what I know about entrepreneurship is if you could stay in it and you can continue to get back up and keep giving it your all and show up, even if it's hard, then eventually it turns into greatness, or it turns into souffle. And that might be a 20-year overnight success story, or 10-year. It ain't a 2-year. So I think that mentality has been instilled throughout the journey of Midday Squares.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love it. I gotta tell you, I've been telling people lately that like recently it's just been something that's on my mind over and over and over again. It's like, I a lot of times put my head down and I think about like, filling my pockets, right? That's kind of everybody's thing today is like how do you fill your pockets? But there's no success in the winner's circle if you get there with full pockets and an empty heart and you're alone, right? So you gotta be doing things that like make you happy, fill your heart, make you joyful, and you have to be working to bring others along with you. And like I hear a lot of that in kind of your story. I love that you guys are self-manufacturing. I didn't realize that that was the case. Like I've worked in food manufacturing and co-pack for a lot of years, and it takes a lot to run your own facility. But I also realize in my own journey with Mocha, um, I I know the struggle of trying to find better for you food production and going out to co-pack. It is not easy. Like you're if you're slightly out of square, no pun intended, they are there is not a lot of resources out there, right? You either need to concede on what you're trying to build, which then like falls short and always leads to failure, or you get lucky and find a partner that can do it for you, or you do what you guys did and you set out and you take the big task of building your own manufacturing facility. So I give a ton of kudos to you guys for being brave enough to go out and build that, because I know how intimidating that piece, probably the most intimidating part of everything you've built today, right?
Yeah, I would say that that was one of the hardest and most painful. There was a lot of uncertainty and difficulty in doing it, because when you're building a line that's custom, and to build a product that you've scaled, you built in your home, that you want to scale to the masses, it's just it's a lot. It's a lot of unknowns, it's a lot of uncertainty, it's a lot of failures. But I would say that we were right more than we were wrong, and that's why we're still here. And again, first principle thinking is critical. If you can use first principle thinking and think like that, I think that it takes you a long way. And look, we're not perfect, we're still not perfect, but we brought on a phenomenal team of people that are so much better than my partners and I at what they do, that it's brought a lot of structure, bureaucracy in a good way to the organization, allowed us to scale, allowed us to, improve quality, improve processes. And without our team, that manufacturing plant wouldn't exist. Without my sister, it wouldn't exist, and my brother-in-law. So look, it's a group effort. It takes a village to make this happen. And that's why when you see a product on a shelf, a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes. So that's why we are trying to show that, so that people can appreciate. They don't have to buy our product, but I'd like them to see how much work actually goes into the craftsmanship of a product. So, again, entrepreneurship is just a game of, in the end, it's a game of decisions and pain that compounds over time. And if you could stay in it long enough, you will see the fruits of your labor. You will see the amazingness that you created, the innovation, the cool, because it really does take a long time. I believe it's a 10-year journey minimum to see it come through to life. And there's obviously anomalies that happen all the time, not all the time, but happen. But I don't know. I think that this has been a real cool learning experience on life, not just on business.
Yeah, for sure. I always tell people like pretty consistently that entrepreneurship, as I've always been in an entrepreneurial role, but as I've stepped out into the full scope of entrepreneurship with Mocha, what I realized is that we live in a world of kind of highlight reels. That's kind of what social media represents a lot of the time. And the entrepreneur's journey is much more about the valleys than the peaks. And a lot of people don't take the time to recognize that success is measured in the valleys, right? Like it's easy to measure success at a peak, right? Everybody, you look at your stock portfolio, and when it's up in a huge spike, you don't have to think about success there. But when you're in the valleys and you're navigating those obstacles, that is when you're learning, you're growing, and you're succeeding. And so I'm always reminding folks to like slow down and pay attention to those valleys and like lean into those obstacles, and liken it to kind of the idea of being in the gym, right? Like you don't start by picking up 100-pound dumbbells. There's a reason that rack goes from like 5 pounders to 150 pounders, because it's about progression. And you have to work your way through the hard times and the soreness and the fatigue and the difficulties in order to come out stronger and better than you were when you started down at the beginning?
It's a wild journey, and it's hard, but it's a choice to be here too. So like as hard as it is, and as moments I want to throw the towel in, it's a choice that I get to do every day, and I'm grateful for it. And I remember that, and then it gets me excited again
Yeah.
because it really is something cool. And then there'll be little moments here or there. I'll be on a plane and I'll see someone random eating our product, and I'll be like, wow, that's cool, and that amps me up because again, progress does happen. It just doesn't look like it in the moment. It just everything takes so much time, and you have to be patient, especially in a world of instant gratification and wanting things really fast. Patience is something that's a superpower. And if you could be patient and continue to execute, continue to show up, continue to get back up every day, no matter how hard, no matter how wild it gets, you're going to win. And whatever winning is defined by, it's very different for everybody. But yeah, I'm just proud that we've been in this journey for 7.5 years, and we're still standing.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it back to too dark of a time because I'd like to block this out of my memory at times. But you launched in 18, and shortly after you launch, the world goes into a pandemic. Luckily, in the food space, we were essential, right? People have to eat, people have to snack. Um, but what did that briefly like? What did that look like for you guys? Like you had this head of steam. You just started this thing, and all of a sudden the world goes into a shutdown, and like people are doing weird things like sanitizing the outside of the package because no one knew like how this thing spread or whatever. Like
Yep.
what did that period of time look like for the brand and for your team?
It was very hard. At the end of the day, we are self-manufacturers, so people work in the, production, and we need bars to make sure that there's work, right? Bars demanded. So when COVID came, prior to COVID, like right before, we were on fire, we were on a tear, we were launching all these retailers. It was super exciting, so much momentum. I'll never remember the speech that year of, what was it, 2020? My team just got together, like, this is our year. This is the breakout. This is the hockey stick curve. And then we lost 70% of sales like that. And I'll never forget, there's two options we can make: is sulk about it and complain and do nothing in action and just let it wait till pass, or action. And I'll never forget, we came back the next day. Instead of complaining, we said, we're going to create action. We're going to try to find all alternative ways to get products to people's bellies, get people eating the product still, because that will keep us working, right? So what we did was we went on to hospitals and we offered to donate product to all the hospitals for the staff, the admin, the security, the nurses, the doctors, everyone that was working really wild hours and time and effort to make sure everything was okay. We just donated a bunch of bars, and that kept our team working. And then eventually the hospitals were buying the bars because they wanted to get them a cost, that way they could support. And our team worked, and then there was this momentum shift of just energy and let's go win, and let's go build. And we actually ended up hiring a bunch. We went on offense instead of defense, and we took a huge risk. We spent money to grow, and we ended up having one of our best years ever. We raised money, we launched a new flavor, we did all these things, but it all came from a crisis, and not just standing still within a crisis, not just doing inaction, but actually taking action, being bold, taking a risk. And it led to a massive year, and it got our team amped up because it showed that we weren't just going to stay still and stop. We actually were going to go out there and find the opportunities no matter what, to make sure that our team was working, fired up, energized. And it taught me a big lesson, that during moments of hardship, it's okay to take a minute to understand what's going on, and take it in, and think. But action is critical. And when everyone was going on defense, we went on offense. So what that taught me was, when everyone's going one way, just stop and think, should I do that, or is there an option in the other way, and be different? And I don't mean just being contrarian for the sake of contrarian. Do it strategically for your business. But that's what really saved this company. I wouldn't be on this podcast without you if we didn't do that decision likely. So yeah, that was a big year. That was a big lesson. That was a big learning on trusting your gut, and taking a risk of uncertainty and stepping into it at discomfort and fear, but not avoiding it, right? And that was a big thing. A lot of people avoid, or a lot of brands will avoid fear because of worry of where it will take them, and that's really real. But in those moments, we go swinging, and whether it's right or wrong, we do that. And hopefully it will continue to be right. I don't know, but that was what happened during that time, and it was a hard moment for the company, for the world, and I'm grateful we're way past that now.
Yeah, it is nice to have that behind us. I guess staying in that same idea of like the emotional piece of being a brand owner and like some of the challenges. Tell me a little bit about the first major grocery buyer rejection early on. Like that to me is like that's the knife in the heart that like no one told me, that you're gonna have to like deal with these kinds of feelings. It's like you build this thing, it's your baby, you build a team around it. You're oftentimes pumped up by a lot of the people around you, your supporters, your village that are giving you positive feedback. And then you finally get a break with a large retailer and and they tell you no. And and we hear no a lot. I know for sure that like me, you hear no a lot.
I think you just
Yeah.
get used to it. The no's are the no's in the beginning hurt. Like they really do. Like if you take them personally, they could ruin your day, maybe weeks. You're building your dream and someone rejects it. And I used to get angry. Instead of getting angry, I realized like, what can I come back with? What can I do better? What can I get more creative with? And now I've gotten used to it. So like my tolerance has just gone up tremendously. Instead of being affected for weeks or even months or even days, I'm not even affected at all. I come back with action after and say, how can we do better? How can we do this? What do we need to change? Maybe what do we need to keep? And what are we not willing to change in terms of ourselves or our values? Because that you shouldn't change your values, and you should have strong opinions loosely held. But if you believe in your values and you're a good person and you're a good company, then you should always stay true to you should stay true to your values as much as you can unless there's an emergency. But I think that, those early rejections just taught me that, I'm just more amped, I'm more fired up, and tolerance has gone up tremendously since those early days. The early days, like I said, it would affect me. I'd be sad and I'd be hurt. And I'd even ask why didn't that work? Or I'd blame rather than, okay, what do we do now to get in? And it's just not an emotion there. It's just, we got rejected. It's part of the game. What do we need to do to get in? Maybe it's not now, maybe it's in a week, maybe it's in 2 years. That's all good. Let's keep the boat moving. Let's keep firing up the engines. We're here in a long game. We're not zooming in on the short term. We're zooming out for the macro. And that's kind of, how I look at things. And we continue to get rejected today. Like it doesn't stop,
Mhm,
but it doesn't mean no. I think it
mhm.
means maybe not now, or it's not the right moment, but it's not a forever thing. And maybe it is a forever thing sometimes, but at the end of the day, that's also a part of the game. Maybe it was never meant to be there. But again, you got to keep getting back up and you got to keep creating movement and action so you can create that momentum to continue to compound and compound and compound. I think where some founders get it wrong is they stay too obsessed with the no, or they stay too obsessed with, how it hurts because yes, it's their baby, it's our baby that we're building. And it means the world to us, and we're putting our life on the line for it, more or less. And but that doesn't mean that your business isn't going to work. It doesn't mean your business is failing. It might not be the right time. It might not be the right fit. It might not be like, you might need a tweak. It might not need a tweak, right? So I think that that's what's changed over the time of rejection for me is how I respond and react and how tolerable I am now today.
Yeah, it's such good advice for other emerging brands and startups. Just to know that's kind of the path. Um, I try to remind myself that you have to hear no. Every time you hear no, you're one step closer to hearing a yes, right? So I try to flip it around and remind myself, like, okay, if I hear no today, whether it's from an investor or from a retailer or whatever. It's like, okay, one down. Let's get on to the next. Let's get on to the next. And yeah, I guess I've tried to develop a little bit thicker skin when it comes to it. But for people starting out, like it's something to be maybe a little bit more aware of. One of the things that you got to get a thicker skin for is oftentimes customer feedback, both positive and negative. But I think I'd love to have you share a little bit about how customer feedback has shaped the product and the brand because I tell people this all the time. I'm full of cliches. I know it's corny, but like I learned more losing a football game than I ever did winning. And so I look at it that way when I'm with customers and I'm getting feedback. Like the people that pat me on the back and like, oh my gosh, you're great. This is amazing. I love it. Thank you. I love you. But that doesn't really help me grow. So tell me a little bit about some customer feedback over time that helped shape the brand and the product.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, when you're building, customer feedback's critical. At the end of the day, those are the people buying your products, those are the people supporting you, those are the people engaging. They're actually experiencing, they care. Care is a big thing. And I think it's important to listen, and it's important to read, it's important to, get a feel of the ground, like touch and feel, and get on a call, pick up the phone, send a voice note, send a video, get on a Zoom, go fly somewhere to get the feedback, whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, like, it's important to do a couple of things. Have your own trusted gut. That's your own magic, superpower, vision, belief, knowledge. Second is to understand what your customers are experiencing and listen and aggregate and put it together, see if there's commonalities, see if there's similar themes, understand if there's an anomaly, maybe something's going on there, you got to look into it. And then third is buying data and actually looking at what's going on in the market data, and then using those three things and combining them to improve your product, to launch a new flavor, to change a certain thing about your brand, or to improve. And I think that what's unique about, maybe not unique, what's interesting about brands is, at least for us, we're in continuous improvement all the time, continuously. And that's because we're listening, we're learning, we're buying the data, we're understanding what our community cares about, and then we're tweaking and turning, tweaking and turning. And it's a forever process, Tom. It's a forever process, because the moment you stop learning as a brand or stop learning as a person is the moment that in my opinion, life no longer becomes growth. And you might grow in age, but you're not growing. You're not growing as a human or as a business. So the continuous learning and continuous improvements is something critical to successful businesses and individuals, in my opinion. I always want to be around individuals who care to invest in themselves and learn and listen and take feedback, but also have the conviction in themselves and who they are and their values. So that's how I look at it. Early feedback and late feedback that we have today, it has definitely steered the business, but also data has steered the business, and also our own gut feelings and what we love generally or don't like has also steered the business.
It is amazing how iterative things are for brand. And to kind of tap into some of the theme of beyond the die line. I've worked my career in packaging, and packaging ends up being such an important part. You want to talk about a tip of an iceberg and all the stuff people don't see, right? They see your metallized package that protects and preserves the product, but they don't understand a bit of what goes into
Hmm.
that selection. They don't even understand, like, on the iterative side. If you're in the packaging business, you're paying attention to, like, the amount of updates and changes and that a product goes through, right? It's not a set it and forget it. And so tell me a little bit about, on the packaging side, starting up your own facility. You had to buy equipment, you had to hire people that knew how to run that equipment. um, Working with flexible films, they're exactly that, they're flexible, and so there's a lot of variation and challenge, and making sure that, right, the product that hits the store shelf is as beautiful as it is, and it also protects and preserves and ensures that the consumer is getting the very best quality product that you can make. So tell
So
me
I
a
think
little bit about packaging.
packaging is critical. Number one, from what everything you just said is why, to be honest with you, and the second part is how it looks also on shelf, and it's your image, it's your reputation, it's how people interpret and feel and experience your brand. And also it preserves products and stuff like that. So look, my sister deals with that. I don't touch that side of the business. So she's the expert in the company with our supply chain team that deals with that. And they're great, and they're learning always on that and trying to improve and get better and all that jazz. So I can't really answer to your question there. What I could tell you though is how your product looks in the store due to packaging and boxes and all that stuff is critical for merchandising purposes, because if bars are all over the place and they're not visible, and no one can see what's going on and doesn't understand, you're going to lose the sale. And that's critical to any organization. Doesn't matter if you're big or small. So for us, we made a bunch of mistakes, ton of errors, and continuously do, and we're still not where we need to be, but we're learning, we're improving slowly. What we take in from data, what we take in from consumer feedback, what we like ourselves, and the next thing you know, the next packaging run changes and it's different, and we're slowly getting better. Certain things that are on the packaging, colors, fonts, like there's so much that goes into it. It's an art, it's a science, it's creative, it's also critical to the actual quality of the product because of the preservation, because of those things. So I don't know. you'd have to ask my sister that question, but I could tell you how important and how much effort and energy and time goes into packaging as a whole and as a business, and how much it actually makes a difference behind the scenes and in front of the scenes.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd agree with me. Packaging obviously is a big piece of that billboard effect and drawing the consumer in. Um, uh, so it's interesting for your shelf placement. You're in a refrigerated section. So on one hand, when you look at that placement, there's a lot less competition, right? Like you're not thrust into the nutrition bar aisle where there's like a sea of products, but it also puts you in a spot where you have to look a little bit harder to know where to go find that product. Um, so tell me a little bit about how you guys manage that unique placement. I think it's a huge benefit to you guys because I think if you're shelf stable and you're just in the nutrition bar aisle, I think you get lost in the mix. But tell me a little bit about your perspective there.
Yeah, look, we started this brand as a refrigerated snacking company. Perfect Bar did a phenomenal job building it. They're a great brand. They've been around for 20 plus years or so. So they were the original that, built out the category and worked their bums off to put a new type of product, a snack in the fridge section. Now, there's many other brands there that are amazing in the set now, and we're one of them, but there's many others. But it's not like the dry bar aisle where there's so many products. There's a little bit of decision fatigue, in my opinion. When you go there, it's a bit overwhelming. So for us, even though refrigeration is harder in terms of supply chain and how many spots in the store you can get and the amount of space, we like to be in that space because it's select less brands and they're very selective on the brands that they put in there, and it can pop more, right? So yes, it's the trade-off of difficult supply chain and difficult amount of space, not immense amounts of space, but it's less, in my opinion, work for the consumer to see the product. So we love it, but it just takes longer. Refrigerated bar companies will likely take longer to grow than a dry snacking product that's similar. So yeah, this was a conscious choice, intentional, and we're okay with the slower growth potentially. Still high growth, but slower in terms of amount of speed to get into the refrigeration, because once you're in there, it's very sticky. The consumer loves it, and the category seems to be moving in a very positive direction because fresh snacking is becoming more popular and more popular, and more consumers seem to be gravitating towards it. But again, it's slightly different, right? You're in a different part of the aisle, and it's sometimes a little bit more hidden, but once you're in, and I think that that's an important one, and you become a trusted source in a new category, which is super cool.
Yeah, I think that placement is just a great differentiator for you. And your comment kind of leads into my next question for you, which is where do you see functional snacking and the better for you set? Where do you see that going in the future? Any insights as to like overall?
I'm a huge believer that this category is growing over the next decade, and I'll tell you why. Because fresh snacks, first of all, there's so many more brands than there was when we started. So Perfect Bar was great. Now there's many more that are really good products, innovative and different. So there's incrementality there. Second is, I think the consumers looking at fresh snacking is better for you. Maybe it's not actually better for you in every product in there, but because of the fridge is the preservation, they look at it as healthier, and the world seems to be moving in that direction as a whole in terms of wanting to snack. Some people say in quotations smarter. So we're excited about it, and we're seeing the growth year over year in the category, and it's fun. Now, the one thing I would say about this category is the only thing I wish it did was I wish it was consistent in every store of where it's located in each store in terms of spots. Is it in the produce section? Is it in the dairy section? Is it in the grab and go? I wish it was just one. The dry snacking category is one section,
Mhm.
consistent. So when a customer goes to XYZ retailer and it's in produce, and then they go to YAZ retailer and it's in dairy, it becomes a scavenger hunt a little bit harder. There's a lack of consistency. So I think that needs to be improved over time. And once that's improved and there's it condenses, or it comes together, that's going to be when it rocket ships.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We got to talk about new product. I'm a chocolate peanut butter guy. That's been the product that I've been most familiar with you guys. But as I was researching for our episode today, You guys have dropped a peanut butter and jelly no bread bar. I'm a peanut butter and jelly freak. Like it is like my number one go-to. So I just grabbed 20 bars on your website. I can't wait for them to arrive. The closest store I can buy them at is like 55 miles from my house. Wegmans is in my backyard, so I
Yep.
pop over there and can get 3 flavors there. But
They're about to get they just this week they're getting or next week they're getting the PBJs.
oh, awesome, awesome. Well,
We love them.
I'll have a stock of 20 that are coming in. I was so excited to see that. And like, yeah, my instant thought was like, one, the product's perfect for me. Like I love the flavor. I love the idea like of a healthier snack, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the bread. And then my second thought was I got to introduce you to my friends over at Smash Foods because
Yeah, they're
they,
great. They're great. We
yeah,
love them.
yeah, you might have a good product collab there where you could do like a Smash Jam because they've done that I think with some other products, and you could have a Smash Jam limited time offering
Cool.
to bring up your fiber and bring those chia seeds into the play. And but so tell me a little bit about the PB&J. How's it going? Um, what kind of led you guys in that direction to go from more of a like a functional candy to like an everyday staple?
I think this came from a crisis. 2.5 years ago, cocoa went through the roof in terms of price, and that was one of our largest inputs in the supply chain. And when it went through the roof to a 100-year high, we were faced with, the decision to either raise prices or change the product. And we didn't want to raise prices because we're already, we believe we're a premium product and we didn't want to go higher. The second option was innovate into in chocolate in other ways. We didn't want to do that, so then we came up with this idea again through feedback from the consumer, our community, plus data that we bought, plus our own taste profiles and gut feelings, and that was PBJs. Everyone loves PBJ, so we said, can we make one that's a square format that's similar to our authentic selves of squares, two texture layers, and we said, why don't we do the two texture as the jelly top, a nice jelly top with a peanut butter bottom that's has protein and fiber. And we did it, we made it, and it was super difficult because there's nothing really holding it together. There's no bread, there's none of that stuff. So what happens is we believe it's the first of its kind of no bread peanut butter jelly, and we launched it. Took 2 years to develop, and we just launched our first one, our strawberry, in January of 2026, and then our second one, our PBJ grape no bread, in May and of 2026. So now we have two. It's our number one sellers already in terms
Ah,
of SKUs. Why? Because it's a little bit more indulgence
mhm,
in terms of taste profiles. And it seems like families are bringing it and buying it for the family rather than just individually for the adults.
mhm,
So that was a big win. And it diversifies our customers. If you think about it, not everyone likes dark chocolate. So it was a way to open up our customer base or our community to people that want to enjoy midday squares as a midday snack, but don't love dark chocolate. So now we're going to build a platform on no bread PBJs. We're going to have about 5 SKUs over time, and then we're going to have our 5 chocolate SKUs. So it gives optionality and it creates the company that we've always wanted to do, which is a midday snacking company. And that's kind of where we're at. And there's so much excitement around it. It's slowly rolling out through retailer. Target has it, and many other retailers are going to be getting these products over the next couple of months. And it seems to be a fan favorite. Again, online, it's already become the number one. And in Canadian retail, where we're from, it's already number one. So it's it's working, and that was a big risk, Tom, at the beginning when we started this idea of a no bread PBJ. We didn't really know what would happen. Going from a chocolate product that's super different in terms of even texture and taste to something completely different that's a huge risk was bold. But in order to win in the game of business or life, you need to be bold. You need to believe. You need to have conviction. And
mhm.
we did it, and our team was phenomenal. They figured out how to make this product and manufacture it really quickly, with high quality and safety and ability to scale. So that's what's happened in the last couple of months. I'm excited to see the next 6 months and what it's going to look like for our PBJs. But again, it seems to be the fan favorite, and I like the grape so far the best. No bread PBJ grape, then strawberry, then cookie dough for me, then peanut butter, then crunchy peanut, and then the other two flavors.
So I got to say that the PB and grape is what I've come into the house, and grape is just an OG flavor, right? Like it throws me back to like the very unhealthy Goobers peanut butter and grape jelly mixed in the jar, right? Like that stuff probably was terrible for me, but I loved it, right? I'd go grab spoonfuls of it, and I'm envisioning when my midday square PB and grape shows up, it's just going to be a throwback, a healthier, better option for someone that has some wellness goals, but still wants that flavor and that experience of that peanut butter and grape combo. It's a timeless classic, you know. So
And it's this, like you said, it's nostalgic. You know, we wanted to bring back good times for people, that like happy memories and just good vibes, and have it in a format where you can have it at 2 p.m. or you want to have it in the morning and it's on the go. It's easy, it's quick, it's refrigerated, it's clean, it tastes good. You know, it's not too sweet. It doesn't, you know, it's low calorie. It's 130 calories for it. So it's just a good snack and it's not overwhelming. And when you try it, you're gonna see it's like it's just enough balance, in my opinion, of peanut butter and grapes. It's not too overwhelming of either or. And people are loving it. Like I'm telling you, the feedback we're getting from our community and even the data we're seeing is fascinating. And it's at a lower price point in retail than our other products
yeah, because you
because
don't
there's
have
no
the
cocoa.
chocolate. Yeah, I love the 130. I love the 170 cal. I love the 130 cal. To me, when I'm looking for a snack, ideally I want it under 200, and I
Yep,
find that like 130 to 170 number
is
to be
nice.
like the perfect amount. So yeah, good job there.
Thank
Um,
you.
so tell me, will for those that are viewing this, maybe it'll get out before the event. Will we see you? Can they come find you at Specialty Food Association's Summer Fancy Food Show this year?
I unfortunately won't be there this year. I've been traveling a lot. I'm going to be home, I believe. We have a lot going on. Again, we have flavors. We're doing a lot of distribution increases and stuff like that. So I won't, but I'm always available on LinkedIn. Jake Karls is the name, or on Instagram, Jake Karls 19, I think. And if you ever want to buy a Midday Square or find them, you know, you can go on our store locator page on our website, www.middaysquares.com. It will show you the nearest store that has it. It's always in the fridge of the store, and or buy it on our website. It ships to your home. And yeah, you know what? We'd appreciate the support, even if you don't buy the square, follow us on social. We're fun. We're wild on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. And I'd love to connect to anybody that wants to talk entrepreneurship, business, food, beverage, or just good vibes.
Jake, that's awesome. You've said so much good stuff here today. You've given so many good insights that are going to be a true blessing to other founders and startups and emerging brands. The product is outstanding. The brand is even better. Um, like Jake said, guys, go follow them on social. You know, you're getting so much entertainment value out of their social channels, and please go buy and support. They are a great company and just really great products. So, Jake, I want to thank you again for carving out time for us today, and really look forward to watching you as you guys continue to shoot for the moon.
Tom, I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your just genuine character. You seem like such a nice guy. I'm not just saying this because we're on the pod, but you're very patient. You're very just like elegant and tame, which I love. So keep rocking. Thank you for having me on the pod, and I hope to see you soon in person.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.